Welcome back. You just caught us trying to reminisce there on the day that Rotherham got into the second tier with a very late goal from Alan Lee at home. This is when you climbed into what's now the Championship. You won 2-1 against, who was it?
Oh, now it's at Brentford.
Brentford, yeah.
It was Brentford.
But it was then dependent on another result, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I think it was Colchester against Ipswich, I think.
Was it?
I might be wrong.
You had to wait around a bit on the field and that.
We did, yeah. And, it didn't take too long, that's a big thing.
Okay, where's Les Payne when you need him? Yeah. Ronnie Moore, former Rotherham United manager, legend in his own time, and I'm sure he's going to get back into management sooner or later. We'll ask him about that. James Gregg is going to round everything up, including a triumph that I was happy to see part of this week.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I can ask you about that rather than you asking me.
I can give a truncated match report on that.
Absolutely.
And going to the Dogs again is John Gilburn, Managing Director of Owlerton Stadium. Good of you to rejoin us, John.
Pleasure, Alan.
When we talk about the odds here, we can just get Ronnie's view. You know,
I think it'd be a good idea to get Ronnie down to the Dogs, and you know he's in between positions, isn't he? He's in a position.
Yeah, I quite like the Dogs, mate.
Yeah.
I haven't been in a lot, but I am interested in it.
Needs some motivation. You can talk to the Dogs.
Yeah. What's the event coming up? There's a big one, yeah?
Yeah, on Tuesday it's the Bresmed Northern Sprint. I must say thanks to the sponsors, Bresmed, who are a Sheffield company. But it's the Northern Sprint. It's so it's a very quick race. It's only over just under 270 metres.
How long does that take?
It takes about 15 to 16 seconds.
Right.
The winner will get £8,000, and it'll run 3 times. So, you know, in just under a minute, you've earned £8,000, more than some of the footballers get these days.
Pro rata, yeah. 8 seconds to 18 seconds to run 240.
16 seconds.
16 seconds. Yeah. They go at 4. I had the pleasure of going to a recent dog night, thanks to you, and I really enjoyed it. I don't know anything about the sport, but 40 odd miles an hour you were telling me they're travelling at.
Yeah, they reach at peak. They'll reach about 42, 43 miles an hour. The top dogs, until they hit the bend, and then they slow down obviously a bit. You
don't realise when you're watching TV, if you're actually on the corner, trackside as we were, and they've gone, do you really appreciate the speed then?
Yeah, when you're trackside and you hear them going past, you know, to be honest, there's more atmosphere than there is from horses.
Yeah, except you haven't got the pounding.
Yeah, well, you do. The dogs, you'd be amazed how the dogs' paws do pound on the sand.
Yeah, you do hear the breath as well.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Right, we're going to bring James in after I've asked Ronnie about Steve Evans. There was another Evans who's been in the news today, and I have to say to you, for legal reasons and all sorts of reasons, there's not an awful lot that we're going to add to what's actually been said today.
It's a Chedwin-free zone. If you tune in for that reason, you're not going to get it here, I'm afraid.
Really? I mean, we can't.
Who says that? And particularly, that isn't relevant. It's not relevant at the moment for us to
not really. I mean, people suggesting on Twitter today that humble pie is going to be eaten by a lot of people. I saw your tweet and your fine words today. There's no question of eating humble pie. It was a different scenario at the time where somebody was convicted of an offence, and you have to go by the law of the land. So all opinions and there were various opinions were dictated by that state of affairs. State of affairs has changed, but it may yet change again.
Absolutely. But we've got the next best Evans, haven't we? We've got Steve.
We're talking about...
you know what, he's a better Evans. He's a better Evans.
Yeah. We'll talk about Steve Evans because we've struck the other one off. Yeah. So then, Ronnie. I refer to you as a big character, okay, at the start of the show. Steve Evans is a bigger character.
Not so much now.
No.
He's lost a lot of weight, hasn't he?
He has.
But Steve is, he doesn't lack confidence. He's still a pal of mine. I speak to him quite a bit. And he did fantastic. He was another one at Rotherham. No one could knock him. I mean, what he did there was incredible.
Yeah.
And then now he's got another big club. Probably the chairman's not as nice as he had at Rotherham. Trying to work under what goes on there must be a nightmare for him. Is that why he's lost so much weight? Worrying about that or not, or has he actually been on a diet? But he looks miles better. Yeah. I mean, when I see him at Rotherham, not so long ago. Not too sure about the blonde rims. That he's got to go with it. But the loss of weight can only benefit him, that's for sure.
Yeah, hope so. And as you say, when people sort of knock him and say, oh, he's had all this money to spend, okay, he's been blessed with something that you never were, really, in your career, so far anyway.
Yeah.
You know, that he did have plenty of resources. But you can only fail with it, and he succeeded with it.
Well, it's how you spend it, isn't it? It's that's the secret. It's all right having the money. Yeah. It's just what type of players you bring in, and he's probably different to Neil in their approach, the way they are.
With players, certainly.
With the players, definitely. Yeah. I would have thought, but on the touchline, I mean, Steve and Paul were forever.
Both
the fourth official wanted every free kick. Every time there was a free kick, it was for Rotherham. You know, if it wasn't, then arms are up, and he's. You know, sometimes I think as a referee, if that had been me, I'd have just. Or the fourth official, I'd have just gone, look, I've had enough. Yeah. Get the ref over, up into the stands, 10 grand a time.
That's the solution, isn't it?
It's the only way to stop it, because if you don't, they'll keep doing it until you tell them. They'll keep doing it and abuse it. I've done it myself.
Yeah.
But once they say to you, I'm going to have the referee over if you carry on, straight away you stop. There's no way. But
I'm sure you've had the conversation with Steve Evans, knowing him well. What does he say when you say, "Hey, you know, you're overdoing it a bit there"?
It's sort of. He says it's in him. It's part and parcel of him. But it can't be all the time. You can't be aggressive to everybody.
No.
You know, you have to have a cut off where. You know, you can't be bad cop, bad cop. You know, you've got to, because it doesn't work, does it? You know, at least when I had Breck with me, I was bad cop and he was good cop.
Yeah.
You know, so you had that where you could hit it off like that. But if you're constantly at your players, constantly at the officials, then, you know, it's not good. The club get a bad name or whatever. But his results, you know, are as good as anybody who's been at Rotherham United.
Absolutely, promotion specialist. But the rumour certainly was, the feeling, the vibe was always that he was constantly at the players. It was all stick and no carrots. And yet, you wouldn't have expected them to produce such good results for him if...
No,
you know,
I mean, and that's what makes me wonder. I mean, you know, I don't believe all the stuff that you hear in football. You know, you do hear that is constantly bang, 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 but you can't. If players dislike you that much, you don't get back-to-back promotions. There's no way. You don't want them all to love you. You don't want them all to send you a Christmas card or a birthday card or whatever. You just want them to respect you and you know, he must have had the respect of the players.
He must have had a grudging
to achieve
respect.
what he had. I mean, it's fantastic to get back-to-back promotions. It was unbelievable, and stay in.
Yeah.
What he did at Rotherham was fantastic, to be fair.
Let's just, before we bring James in, just check the form for the big event on Tuesday. I'll let you read the name of it again, because it's a bit of a tongue twister, and tell me who you think's going to win it.
Yeah, well, it's the as I say, it's the Bresmed Northern Sprint, which is bringing back a competition that really dates back a long time. In Trap 2, we've got a local dog. It's the only one. It's Worsborough Spectre, and it's trained by Barry Draper, who's actually from Rotherham, strangely enough. Got a very good chance. Personally, I'd like it to win, obviously, because it's local. I don't think it will do. I think Trap 3 will win it, which is Suicide Lee from Nottingham.
It's Suicide Lee?
Nearly, yes. Suicide.
All right.
And it's won its heat. It's won its semi-final. Very, very. She's actually the only bitch in the race as well. But she's absolutely bang on form.
How did he get to? For the numbers, you know, is it a draw? Who goes in Trap 1, who goes in Trap 2?
Yeah, well, we know which dogs are railers and which dogs are wide runners. Unfortunately, on this competition, we've got 5 railers, so you have to do a trap draw, proper trap draw, in front of the public. The one that's in Trap 6 is actually a middle runner, but because it's the widest one there, it will go from Trap 6 on the outside. That actually is going to give it quite a good chance, because it's going to get a fairly clear run in the first bend.
And then they all
come together. But of course, it's such a short race that, you know, quite honestly, whichever dog pings out of the traps, you're going to. I don't think any other dog will catch them, because they're all very, very good quality dogs. So it's going to be an interesting final.
Look forward to that.
Expecting a few people there then on Tuesday.
Yeah, there'll be 1,000 or so people. You know, get the local football teams worried, without fans.
Yeah, there's no football on the same night. You're taking
No, it's
crowds
really
away
good
from
this
us.
time.
Absolutely.
Well, James.
Yes,
Let's talk about
plenty going on, of course. We'll start Football League clubs this week. Sheffield Wednesday, well, buoyed by a new contract for manager Carlos Carvalhal. They travel to fellow playoff hopefuls Derby County on Saturday. Early kick-off, a win could seal their place in the playoffs. They should have done it already. Ronnie touched on it in the first half. Should be going places like MK Dons and stuffing them really, but they haven't thus far. Hopefully Saturday is the day for the Owls. Sheffield United also got an early kick-off on Saturday, playing against Barnsley at Bramall Lane. Of course, everyone knows what a big game that is. Blades 4 points behind Gillingham in the final playoff spot. 3 games left. It's anyone's, isn't it? Absolutely anyone's.
Yeah. That game could have been almost dead from Sheffield United's point of view. Yeah. And now, what a challenge that is to beat Barnsley. And both teams have really got to go for it, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't think you'll see a game where you've got 2 teams not wanting to lose it on Saturday. I think you'll see 2 sides going
and
out
they're
there.
both better now, aren't they, from the last time they played each other?
Yes.
Absolutely.
There's a change round in form on both teams.
It was. That was a 1-1 draw. John Brayford had just come in. That was his comeback game.
He'd just been in here, yeah.
I think it turned Barnsley round in it, that result, I think.
They got a late goal.
Far off, yeah.
It did. Yeah.
The results went for
and
him.
Lee Johnson was still manager there, wasn't he?
Yeah,
well, they've had fantastic run, to be fair, haven't they?
Yeah. Great run. Yeah, I know.
Paul Heckingbottom is
somebody
that you know?
Well, Paul. Not a lot, I know he's looked after the under-21s, done a lot of good work with the youth players who were there, and I think there's no way he can't get the job, is there? I mean, they've got to give
kept him waiting, haven't they?
Yeah. You would have thought it had been done by now, but
matter of time.
It would have been nice for him. I mean, to go to Wembley. John will get them there, and he leads them out, and they win. It's fantastic how football can just change like that.
Well, Paul Heckingbottom, somebody Lee Bullen talks very highly of, the assistant manager of Sheffield Wednesday. I'm looking forward to Bramall Lane Saturday, doing that one for Sky, and it's 12:30. So
brilliant. Should be a cracker. As should the Derby Sheffield Wednesday game as well.
Absolutely.
We'll talk non-league now. Sheffield FC, not much to shout about for them. Take on Tividale after a loss in midweek on Saturday. But Alan said earlier on, he was at Sandygate the other night. They've leapt into the playoff spots. That's absolutely confirmed now. Finished the season at AFC Mansfield on Saturday. Michael Blythen has scored 40 goals this season in the league. 40 goals, incredible stats, and hopefully exactly. Hopefully he can carry that goal scoring run on into the playoffs in, of course, Northern Counties East League. You were there. What was the atmosphere like?
It was terrific, for a non-league game. They pulled in over 100. I think it's normally around 80, and they were at home to Selby Town on Monday night. And Selby are quite a name at that level. And Hallam were unluckily a goal down at half-time as a deflected shot. In the second half, playing uphill. And you know what Sandygate Road's like. It's a steep slope, isn't it? Yeah. They've really got that down to a fine art. Absolutely dominated the game, playing uphill. And Blythen got a brilliant hat-trick. I mean, the second and third goals are fantastic, and the Ultras make it. Now, the Ultras are a group of about 30 or 40 students from, I think, Sheffield Hallam University, and they give it the atmosphere of a cop choir behind the goal. They're very, very good, but quite funny as well at times. Good. And they're spilling onto the fields. Ryan Hindley, is quite a self-effacing and sort of reserved character, isn't he, Ryan? As we know.
Of course he
is. He's on the field like this. It really was great to see. And he got some more at Drumfield, didn't he, Blythen? Did he got the first goal?
He did, yeah. I think he scored in his last 4. So he's scoring away. FC Mansfield, who they're playing on Saturday, big spenders in that league. But next week on this same programme, same roundup, we're bringing you all their playoff, who they've drawn, where they're at, where you can go and see them as well, support them as well.
Well done.
Good luck, and well done to Ryan Hindley, who of course joined them when they were bottom of the table last year. Move on to Rugby League now. Sheffield Eagles, they lost to Wakefield in the Cup, and to use that footballing cliche, well, they can concentrate on the league now, and they certainly need to do that as well, lingering right down the bottom of the table at the moment. Take on inform London Broncos this Friday. Tomorrow night, injury headaches for Mark Aston as well. Good luck to them. Sheffield Sharks, well, their season's finished now, well, certainly for the regular season, but again, they're in the playoffs. Play against London Lions. The Sharks, they finished third. Lions finished sixth. So first game is tomorrow night, 7:30 tip-off at the English Institute of Sport. They'll be buoyed by a big 25-point win over Surrey Scorchers last week. So if you fancy going and watch some top-quality basketball, head yourself down there. And also, New Yorkshire League cricket as well. Obviously, I said this last week, most games were rained off last week, certainly all the first team games at some of the bigger clubs around here. Yorkshire have several players who are featuring in the newly sort of formed Yorkshire League. It's actually going to be split into 4 different regions of Yorkshire. Sheffield Collegiate playing, of course, in the southern version of that. Billy Root, Elliot Callis, former Yorkshire wicket-keeper Simon Guy, all featuring for them. So that's really big. Big weekend of cricket for all the teams. We'll be rounding them up next week. Fingers crossed for no rain, hopefully not. And we're going to finish off Rugby Union. Tigers crowned champions, play Ilkley on Saturday, playing in National 2 North next season. Well done to them. It's been coming all year, hasn't it? Could have told you this probably a few weeks ago. And I've just got to finish off, as well, with a bit of snooker. Steve Davis retired, obviously, this week. We're ever so lucky in Sheffield to have the World Snooker Championships right on our doorstep at the Crucible. I know they fight very hard every year. There's always talk it could move to China, it could move there. It always stays here. It's brilliant. If you want a big match, I know that there's some tickets left for the 2:30 session on Saturday where Ronnie O'Sullivan is playing against former finalist Barry Hawkins. So get yourselves on the phone. The phones will be going mental down there at the Crucible.
Can't believe there's any tickets left for that one.
I know, incredible, incredible.
And by the way, we're in the wrong place because I watched Judd Trump this afternoon and come from behind. And he was a long way, 7-3 down, so win eventually, 10-8. And he, on Twitter, he said there were drinks for everybody that wanted to celebrate with him. And I've since seen where those drinks are available. The Sheffield Graduate Pub, which is just round the corner from the Crucible.
Just opposite.
All you've got to do, apparently, says Job, is just say his name at the bar, and there's a drink. So that's where we're heading.
We'll be there.
We're heading in about 7 or 8 minutes time.
Wow.
Hey?
That's all right, isn't it?
I should,
Yeah,
absolutely. And well done to him. And also brilliant to see. I watched the Hallam game with James Colliver, Jazz, as they call him, manager of Sheffield FC, who's been in here. And he came to support his mate and to support the other Sheffield non-league team. So it's really good to see.
Not sure you'll see Carlos or Nigel Atkins at Hillsborough Wednesday get in the playoffs.
No, and if they were, they'd be heavily disguised. You're not allowed to do that kind of thing to support your local rivals, are you? Really?
No.
You have to be very, very careful of what you seem to be doing. When are we going to see you back in football?
It's one of them. When you're out of football at this present time, it's going to be September, October time, isn't it? Because the season's nearly ended now. You know, and then we get to September after 7 or 8 games, 9 games, wherever it is, chairmen start having a little panic on. And who gets the blame for it? Obviously, it's the manager, so the manager has to go. So I would imagine it's going to be, you know, September, October time before the opportunities come. Then it'll be myself and another 90-odd
clambering for
people clambering in for that one job. So it's just you just got to be lucky.
You're not wishing ill of any individual, but at the same time, human nature dictates you're looking at a certain club's results that might be geographically suitable for you, and thinking, Craig, if they lose this one as well.
It goes on. It's crazy how it goes on.
And that you think should be doing better than they are.
Yeah.
Well, you know, at Hartlepool when we were losing games, it's surprising how many managers who are out of work actually turn up and watch games.
What's that like for the manager in situ? You know, you're under pressure and you see these faces.
It's not nice when you turn around and see them. It's not too bad if you see them once or twice, but when they've got a season ticket, it's a bit daunting.
Sat next to the chairman.
Holding hands with the chairman or whatever. You know you're in big trouble.
But it's just the way of the world, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the way it is. It's vultures and it's not nice, but it's all I know and all a lot of people know. It's in your blood, isn't it? So But I've never ever done that where I'm sat, gone watch games no way. I would never do it.
You'd almost do the reverse and think, oh, if I turn up there, that's going to make things worse for X.
I mean, it's not too bad if the manager's gone and you've got caretaker people in there. At least then you can show your face and it shows you've shown an interest in the job, even though the two lads who are in charge are probably thinking, God, how many have we got behind when you turn around and see everybody all sat on the wall there? The vultures are all quirking and waiting to get in.
I suppose you're at a stage where you don't actually need to work for the reasons why a lot of us have to go to work. You've had a good career, I'd imagine, but you need it psychologically. Would I be right there?
Not really.
No, no.
Divorces come heavy.
Yes. Yeah. Those bookmakers' bills, yes.
Yeah, I know. That's another story. We should have one day. I'll come in and we'll talk about that gambling thing.
Yeah,
that was
nonsense, an absolute nonsense. There, but by the grace of God, goes everybody in football.
Definitely.
Yes. Yeah, but and I think everybody let you know that there was no stigma whatsoever.
No, it was fantastic the way it was handled. It just gave the club I was at a chance to get me out, though. That was disappointing.
Yeah, that was Tranmere Rovers.
It was done in a sneaky way. Because basically we weren't playing particularly well at the time, but I had good following supporters were still behind us and whatever, and it was just an easy way out, if you like. It would have been nice. I mean, they never even looked at what was involved. It was just that,
Nobody retires these days, by the way. Neil Warnock, 67. No. You're a few years behind that. You're not looking to retire.
No.
And I'm
but you keep going for as long as you can, isn't it?
Yeah.
It keeps you young, to be fair. It keeps you in there.
That's why you enjoy it.
You get there, you train every day. It's fantastic.
You've got a young daughter as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got one daughter who's 40 and my second daughter's 10. So they're good sisters.
30 years.
So there you go.
30 years apart.
So there's hope for everybody.
Now, Mr. Gilburn, you can top this story. My spies tell me you can top this story. Go on.
Yeah, I've got a daughter who's 37 and I've got one who's 2.
Right.
And I've got a wife who's 27.
Yeah. Have you got another one on the way?
Yeah, we've got another one on the way. Yeah. No, we've got another baby due in August.
Brilliant.
So second family is great fun. Keeps you young.
It does.
Absolutely.
So it keeps you fit as well.
Yeah.
I haven't got any.
It sounds like.
I've got 3, and they're all adults, so I don't think there's any plans to add to them. You're so fit. You'll be running around with the dogs.
Yeah, definitely.
That Tuesday night's going to be great. For anybody who's not been to Greyhound racing at Owlerton, do thoroughly recommend it.
Free admission as well.
Free?
So, get in and come and enjoy it. Come and experience. Yeah, totally free. It'll be a fantastic atmosphere on Tuesday night.
So you make in from the bars and the betting?
Yeah, we make from the food, the bars, and as you say, and the betting. But to be honest, it's more about putting on a show. When we're on Sky, when we've got the very big finals, we want to make a spectacle of it, show people how enjoyable Greyhound racing is.
You've got some income from Sky and you can afford to throw the doors
that's right.
open.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you well for it, and
Thank
I'm sure it'll be a very, very exciting night.
Just don't listen too closely to my tips. You know that by
I do indeed.
when you came.
Trap 3, Trap 3's the winner.
I listened too closely to him the other night.
Now I might re-download my Sky Bet app. I think.
Don't put your savings on it, Ronnie.
No.
What savings? Where are you this weekend, Ronnie? Are you going to a game?
No, it's a quiet weekend, to be fair. I've got a dinner to go to at New York Stadium for Wickersley Youth and the president of the club. So I'll be from 4 to 16-year-old kids. So it's a long night giving medals out.
But you're used to it, just your sort of audience. Thanks to you for watching. Thank you, Ronnie. It's been brilliant. Thanks ever so much again, John. Thank you to you, James. 11 p.m. repeat or on my YouTube channel. And see you next week. Bye.